In recent years, the NoFap movement has exploded across the internet. Rooted in abstinence from pornography and masturbation, NoFap promises life-changing benefits, sharper focus, boosted energy, deeper confidence, and even spiritual clarity. You'll find countless success stories of men claiming to have conquered depression, anxiety, social awkwardness, and more, simply by stopping a habit they felt had consumed them. But amid the bold claims and motivational videos, there's another side of the story, one that NoFap gurus rarely tell you. Beneath the surface of well-edited testimonials and dopamine-charged monologues lies a complex reality that's often ignored in favor of viral appeal. Here's what they're not telling you. 1. NoFap is not a miracle cure. One of the most glaring misconceptions sold by many NoFap influencers is that abstaining from masturbation will fix your life. As if by sheer willpower and semen retention alone, you'll suddenly become the person you've always wanted to be. This notion is seductive, but dangerously simplistic. The truth? NoFap is a tool, not a transformation. If you're socially awkward, chronically unmotivated, or depressed, NoFap alone won't change that. Those issues usually stem from deep-rooted psychological patterns, lifestyle choices, or past traumas. You still need to put in the real work: therapy, self-reflection, exercise, skill building, and better habits. In other words, stopping a symptom doesn't automatically fix the system. 2. Superpowers are often just withdrawal symptoms receding. Many NoFap participants report superpowers after a few weeks: clearer thinking, eye contact, increased charisma. But what's often happening is that they're simply returning to a baseline state that years of compulsive porn use disrupted. It's not that NoFap gives you special powers. It's that porn overuse takes them away. What you're experiencing is not enhancement, it's recovery. Gurus tend to romanticize this phase instead of helping men understand it for what it truly is: detox. There's power in detox, yes, but it needs to be paired with long-term behavioral change to create sustainable growth. 3. You can still be unproductive on NoFap. Another myth peddled by NoFap influencers is that you'll automatically become a beast of productivity just by retaining your semen. Unfortunately, productivity requires more than abstention. It demands structure, discipline, and clear goals. Without a system to direct your energy, all the pent-up motivation you feel can lead to frustration, restlessness, or even aggression. Some men end up more irritable and aimless during their NoFap streaks because they haven't found constructive outlets for that energy. If you don't replace the habit with purpose, you're just white-knuckling your way through a cycle of urges. 4. Shame and guilt are still rampant. One of the most toxic undercurrents in the NoFap community is shame. While many influencers claim the movement is about empowerment, the language often leans toward moral judgment. Relapse is seen not just as a stumble, but as a moral failing. The words weak, slave, and loser are thrown around casually. This creates a harmful cycle. You feel guilty, you relapse, you feel worse, and the shame deepens. For some, NoFap becomes less about healing and more about punishment. True recovery isn't built on shame, it's built on understanding. You don't need to demonize yourself to grow. 5. Porn addiction is real, but it's not universal. Many NoFap advocates assume that every man who masturbates or watches porn is addicted. That's simply not true. There's a wide spectrum of use, and not everyone suffers from compulsive behavior. For some, masturbation is a normal part of sexual health, something that doesn't interfere with their relationships, productivity, or mental state. Labeling all users as addicts over-pathologizes what can be a natural impulse. The key difference is control. If your use is controlling you, or replacing real connection, then it's a problem. Otherwise, moderation may be perfectly healthy. 6. It can become just another obsession. Ironically, for some people, NoFap replaces one compulsion with another. Instead of being addicted to porn, they become addicted to the streak. They track the number of days since their last relapse like a badge of honor, obsess over milestones, and tie their identity to a number. This performance-based mindset can lead to perfectionism and paranoia. The slightest slip-up feels like a catastrophic failure. But real growth isn't about unbroken streaks, it's about sustainable change, resilience, and learning from failure. 7. Sexual energy is not the enemy. Some NoFap rhetoric paints sexual desire as something to suppress or overcome. But sexual energy isn't inherently destructive, it's powerful. When directed consciously, it can fuel creativity, connection, and purpose. The goal shouldn't be to kill your libido, but to master it. To stop being controlled by your impulses and instead channel them into something greater. Discipline is not denial. It's direction. Conclusion. Take the wisdom, leave the dogma. The NoFap movement isn't inherently flawed. It's helped countless men regain control over their lives. But it's often wrapped in dogma, shame, and oversimplification. The most dangerous thing isn't abstinence, it's idolizing it. Use NoFap as a stepping stone, not a destination. Understand your reasons, define your goals, and most importantly, build a life that's rich, meaningful, and grounded, regardless of what day your streak is on. Because true transformation isn't about what you're running from. It's about what you're running toward.